Welcome back to my second video about my Leica Q2. This beauty that I hold in my hands is one of the best cameras I've had. And I've had a few good ones, I must say. I'm lucky enough. I had the Leica Q, the previous generation, and because I had quite a few cameras, it was my special camera and I didn't use it as much as I should. I spent a lot of my time with the Leica Deluxe and the Sony, and I had a Canon. So I kept it because I loved it and I wanted to use it for special occasions. And I keep advising people not to save things for special occasions because life is not an end goal, it's a journey. The special occasion is today. So I've decided to take my own advice and I have sold my Leica Deluxe and all the other cameras that I had that I think are the ones that I feel comfortable carrying around all the time because I think they're cheap. So I've now kept this and this. I put this one on eBay to sell, and even though it's a limited edition camera and it's amazing and it's a proper Leica, it's not a Japanese collaboration, I haven't had much interest. I think about 5 people contacted me about it, and I don't know if anyone's absolutely serious in buying it. So I decided, instead of putting it away and saving it, I'm going to use it. And it's completely scratchless and as good as new. But I'm going to use it, and eventually this will be a limited edition. Well, it is a limited edition, but it will be a collector's item one day with my marks on it. And so I've started using it, and I've realized it was such a big mistake putting it away for the last year and a half that I've owned it. I should have used it. It's such a wonderful camera. Coming back to the Q. So I got so many comments and things from my previous video about saying, well, you should use your camera more and blah, blah, blah. So I decided I should do something and learn some photography. So I went out with this group of people. There's a chap who organized this street photography walk in London. And I joined that group through this meetup app. And I went with the bunch of about 15 people, some of which were really amazing photographers. And they had these really, really fancy cameras with big lenses and zooms and blah, blah, blah. And I was there with this baby, and that was it. So I learned quite a lot from these people, and some of them were amateurs like me, and some of them were professionals. So I managed to learn quite a lot. I just followed them around like a puppy dog and just took pictures of everything they were taking pictures of because I thought I'd learn like that. And to be honest, I used the camera. And as I am always honest with you guys, I'm not an expert. I'm not a super duper photographer. So I used the camera on full auto. The only thing I adjusted was the aperture from time to time. I switched it to manual because I wanted to have a good blurry background, or the bokeh effect as they call it. But otherwise, I just took this camera around and I took loads of pictures. There was an American chap there in that group of people who said that when he goes out, if he takes 300 pictures and 5 of them are good, then that's a good day. And he said just take loads and loads of pictures and some of them will be good. I think I took about 175 pictures, both in JPEG and RAW, because I thought in case some of them are really good and I want to do something with them, I don't think I have the time or the patience to sit in front of Lightroom and edit them. But I will show you how amazing this camera is, because the pictures I took as an amateur who has no idea came out really, really well. The guy who was our guide who organized this was a really lovely chap. I'll put his Instagram below, because go follow him if you are on Instagram. I think he's called Slow Mo Photographer. Very young chap and very nice. He said, you can take pictures of strangers on the street, but be careful because someone might punch you, and if someone comes and says delete this picture, then do delete it, because you don't want to get into a confrontation or an argument with someone. And I was too scared and worried about taking pictures of strangers, so I said, well, can you be my subject, and I'm just going to take pictures of you, because then I know you're not going to punch me. So he was really nice. I took lots of pictures of him, which you'll see in this. So it's the guy who was showing us around London, and he's a good photographer. He's very young but very good. In terms of this camera, okay, so let me quickly talk about a little bit of this camera. So a few things that I really liked compared to the Leica Q. The Q2 doesn't have the single and continuous function on this button, so you switch on the power just on and off rather than that. This one still has the, I don't know if you can see it. No. So there's this button here. You switch on the power, it goes into single, and then you do another click and it goes into continuous mode. And with the Leica Q, that was one thing that I had to always be careful. I normally keep the camera switched on when I'm going around taking pictures. I don't turn it off. I set it into power saving mode, so it goes into standby when it's not being used, but you touch the shutter button and it comes back to life. So what I did with this is I just kept it on auto and just left it in power on standby mode to see if I see something nice, I'll take pictures. The greatest thing is that I took 175 pictures and I walked around for 3 hours with the camera in this switched on mode and being turned off automatically. The battery life is amazing. I think I used 1/3 of the battery or a quarter in 3 hours and 175 pictures, both raw and JPEGs. And I made a couple of videos in between as well. So yeah, very good battery life. I don't think I'll need a separate battery for this. I had one for the Leica Q, which I never actually used, but I just bought it anyway. Because I thought if I'm out and about and traveling around Europe and I'm running out of battery, I should have another one. This one, I don't think I'll need one. So in terms of the functions, they've reduced the number of buttons on the back. So there were 4 buttons and even this one, as you can see, has several buttons. This one actually is quite good because there's a button that is used for white balance that I quite like. And then there is a focus button which allows you to change the various focus options, whether you want a single point focus or multi-point or face detection. This one, there's a function button that you can assign with various things, so that does the job. But overall, I think the simplification is really good. I put a protective screen on the back of this, which I do on all my cameras, because when you're carrying it around, it hits your belt and your jacket zippers and things, and it scratches the screen. So I put that on. And as I showed you, I put a lens protector on as well on the front, because it's a fixed lens and I don't want to break it or damage it or scratch it. One thing that I am still struggling with this camera, and I've raised it with Leica in the UK and no one seems to know the answer, is you cannot connect directly to your phone or your laptop or your iPad like you could with the Leica Q. With that, you had the Wi-Fi option. You could turn on the Wi-Fi, use the passcode, connect it to your device, and then transfer pictures. And I could use the Leica Q app, and I could use the Photos app, Leica Photos. This one has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi both, but it doesn't connect. I don't know whether they've disabled it until the app is released or what, because at the moment it just gives me an option to say connect to Photos or Leica Photos and then pair. But obviously that app isn't available until 13th of April. So the Leica Photos app is still available, but it doesn't work on the Q2. The Q2 version is going to be released on the 13th of April. So until then, if I want to copy pictures or remote control this camera. There's nothing. And I've asked them at the Leica stores and the Leica customer service in London to say, can you please tell me how I can connect this? Because I know there's a Wi-Fi option in here and there's a Bluetooth. I just want to connect it to the Wi-Fi so I can use the old Leica app. And then when they bring out the new one, no one seems to know. They don't even have a camera. So I rang the guy and he said, oh, I don't have a camera, so I can't go through the menus. You might have to call a few stores and see if someone has one of the cameras. So maybe they're selling like hotcakes as they always do. But I guess it's the same thing with Leica and Rolex and many other big brands, that they control their supply to increase demand, and I think they're doing very well. It's like Rolex or this Tudor. It was a nightmare to get one of these, the Black Bay 58 and then the Rolex Submariner. They just don't make enough of them because they know that people want them, and it creates the desirability in the market. Anyhow, I'll show you some pictures and enjoy. Let me know your comments and see what you think about this beauty and my photography skills. Thanks for watching.